This episode is brought to you by Gen Z Slang. Talking to your kids can be so frustrating, annoying, and downright confusing. Y'all, I don't understand half the words that come out of my kids' mouths. But here at the Kim Gravel Show, we've spent over 1,000 hours researching cutting-edge language trends. So now you'll be able to understand what the heck your kids are talking about. I have it all right here. Slaps means cool. Riz means charisma. It's sending me is the new laugh out loud, the new LOL. Delulu means delusional. That sounds about right. And sus means suspicious. Oh, Lord, I'm confused right now. My brain isn't braining. That means I'm confused. And don't even get me started on the emojis, y'all, okay? Y'all, I find this all very sus because these kids are delulu and my brain isn't braining on any of this. So let's just start the show. And by the way, y'all are Riz.
This is the Kim Gravel Show.
Y'all, Jamie Kern Lima is here.
80% of women do not believe they're enough.
And I think that's low.
My self-doubt was so loud.
Tell me how you fought back those insecurities.
And when we don't believe we're enough, here's how it shows up in our lives.
You got to say that again and do it slow because that's deep.
For 40 years, I was waiting on my weight. So see, there are good things that come out of junk food. Here's what's wild, Kim. I'm going to jump out of my chair right now. This is not going to make any sense. You really want me to be really, really honest?
Total 1,000% raw. This week, I have a great show for you. I'm so excited because my dear friend, Jamie Kern Lima, is here, and she has a brand new book that just came out last week, and I cannot wait to talk about it with her. It's called Worthy: How to Believe You Are Enough and Transform Your Life. Before we get to Jamie, I want to say that it's so important to me that you, watching and listening right now, feel like you're part of the show and part of this Love Who You Are community that I'm building. Y'all, it's so powerful. So this week, I'm doing a listener rapid fire question where you'll have a chance to answer a question. I'm putting you in the hot seat. And after the interview, I have an inspiring listener voicemail that I want to share with you because I want to hear from you. So you call us. You message us and tell me about what you love about who you are. That's all I want you to do. Let me know what you love about who you are. But before we get to all that, I need to introduce my powerhouse guest. She is the founder of It Cosmetics, a billion-dollar brand that she started in her living room. She's a New York Times bestselling author. She has a new podcast coming out, a new book coming out, and she is busier than all get up. I'm telling you, welcome to the Kim Gravel Show.
Jamie Kern Lima, Jamie Kern Lima. I love it. I am so grateful to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Kim.
I am so excited. I have been waiting for this, Jamie. I think we've been trying to connect and be on this podcast for over a couple of years, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm so excited about your book. But can we, let's rewind a hot minute because you started It Cosmetics. I know you from It Cosmetics because I used to watch QVC before I was even on QVC. I bought It Cosmetics back in the day, girl. And you started in your living room. And I love this story. How did you have the confidence or the belief in yourself enough to even start it?
Oh my goodness. Well, for a long time, I didn't, right? For a long time, I had way more self-doubt than I had self-belief. And, you know, it's for anyone who is listening to you and me right now, who's like, oh, I have this idea, or maybe they want to put their art out into the world, or they want to get on the dating app, or they like, don't let your doubt yourself out of your own destiny. Because for me, Kim, like most of my life, I mean, a lot of people, maybe if they know of the story of It Cosmetics, or if they read kind of what the press shares, which is like Denny's waitress builds billion-dollar company, it's easy to think like, oh, that person must just be so confident. It must have just been easy. But it was really what a lot of people don't know. I know you know this as my friend, but a lot of people don't know that the journey was just filled with hundreds and hundreds of no's and rejection along the way. And then for me, from the time I had the idea for It Cosmetics, it actually started in a big season of setback and self-doubt in my life.
Yeah.
And what I know and believe is that so often our setbacks, even though they suck and they don't make sense at the time and they're painful and we never want to go through them, so often our setbacks are actually God's setups for,
Amen.
right? For what we're called to do or for some strength we're supposed to build so that we can carry the weight of our success later. But I was anchoring the news and had worked all the jobs to get there. And I thought, one day I'm going to host a talk show. That was my lifelong dream since the time I was a little girl. So I had done all the jobs, waitressing, bagging groceries, trying to, make it to school, and eventually was in small market news, moved my way up, and I was anchoring the news in Portland, Oregon. And, I have hereditary rosacea. I'd tried everything for it. Nothing worked, went to all the dermatologists, and I'd always been able to cover it up, and it wasn't a big deal. And there was one day on the news, I was anchoring live and the makeup would not cover it. And nothing would work. And so I remember spending my whole paycheck at the time just trying to find anything that could work. And I remember having this gut feeling, and maybe people listening to you and me right now can relate to this. I had this moment where I was like, what if I could do this? What if I'm supposed to, figure out how to, and it was almost this gut feeling or this knowing or this whisper, the still small voice. It's like, that I had this idea. What if I could create a makeup brand that worked for me? But then, Kim, my self-doubt was so loud. My thoughts, right? All of our thoughts in our head are self-doubt. That is not who we are, but we all often have this self-doubt. And I actually talked myself out of doing it for the longest time, because even though I had this gut feeling, like, what if I should do this, right? And for everyone listening, it might be a different feeling you have about something in your life. What if I should try this? My head was like, oh, but Jamie, you got no money. You have no connections. You're not qualified. You don't know anyone in the beauty industry. And I sat in that place between my intuition or my knowing, or when I get pray and I hear God, that's where I hear it, my intuition, telling me I should do it, but my head telling me I should not. And I almost doubted myself out of this too. It wasn't until one day when I had this deep kind of moment of grace where I realized that if I could launch a brand, that my whole life seeing ads for the last 40 years. I love the beauty ads I had always seen on commercials and in magazines, but they always kind of made me feel like I wasn't enough. And I never saw women that looked like me with skin challenges. And so I had this kind of moment of grace where I was like, well, maybe it's not about figuring out just how to make a good product. What if, I could do it and try to stand for something bigger? What if I could show my rosacea on TV and put women of every age and shape and size and skin tone and skin challenges models and call them beautiful and mean it? And my bigger God-sized dream was, what if I could do something to help shift the definition of beauty in the whole beauty industry for every little girl out there who's about to see those, magazine ads and start doubting herself, and every grown woman who still does. And that was the moment I decided to go for it. And didn't know how hard it was going to be. Didn't know it would be years and years and years and years and years of rejections. But that was the moment I decided to trust that knowing instead of trusting all the no's I was telling myself in my own head. So I think those are the moments that change our life, when we learn how to trust ourselves. And I think especially as women, we often don't trust ourselves.
You're preaching to the choir here, because I totally can relate to everything you're saying, but I love how you have maintained, Jamie, the same messaging. You can tell this is who you are at your core, at your center, at your deepest part of who you are. Because this message of worthy that you're talking about, I read Believe It. I've got it highlighted. I've got it dog-eared, the whole 9 yards. That was such a brilliant way to talk about believing. But now you're talking about this worthiness. I think really this is going to be your biggest book ever, because I think it's been threaded throughout your entire messaging, even with It Cosmetics, is being, what does worthy mean? What do you mean by we are worthy?
Yes. Okay. So Kim, this is the thing for me. Most of my entire life, I believe the lie that if I could just achieve enough, then I would finally feel enough, right? And I spent decades of my life thinking, right? And what I realized is that our self-worth, underneath it all, our self-worth is our ceiling. Our self-worth is our ceiling to almost everything, because in our relationships and our friendships and our businesses and our goals and dreams, like, we don't become what we want. We become what we believe we're worthy of.
I love that. Say that again, Jamie. You got to say that again and do it slow, because that's deep. That's deep, girl.
Right? Yeah, just for every person listening, in your friendships, in your relationships, in your hopes and dreams, in your businesses, in all of it, in our lives, we don't become what we want. We become what we believe we're worthy of. And when I say our self-worth is our ceiling, what that means is, and I'll just break it down for a minute, because here's what's wild, Kim. I'm going to jump out of my chair right now.
Do it. Go, girl.
If someone's listening and they're like, well, I always feel like I'm not enough, but I think I'm alone in that. 80% of women do not believe they're enough. 80%.
And I think that's low. I think that's low, Jamie.
I think you're right.
Seriously. Okay.
You think it's
I'm
higher,
serious.
right?
I think it's a lot higher than that.
It's this, when we believe we are not enough, it is a lie. It is a lie. And why I wrote Worthy is, it's not about learning all these new things. It's about, how do you unlearn the lies that lead to self-doubt and then sort of ignite those truths that wake up worthiness? Because what I learned through believing the lie, if I just get this next goal or dream, then I'll finally feel enough, and just for everyone listening to kind of put it in perspective in your own life, it's like, if you've ever had one of those big goals or dreams and thought, once I finally get that, then I'm going to be happy. Then I'm going to be fulfilled. Then I'm going to feel enough. And for some people, that might be once I get the relationship or the marriage or the kids or the white picket fence.
Oh, Lord, that's not going to happen.
the six-pack abs, the goal weight, the fitness goal, the business hitting a certain threshold, the amount of fame, whatever it is, right? A certain job title or a certain dream job. And for most of us that we've worked really, really hard, and a lot of us have this experience where we actually get that thing. Maybe it took decades, but we actually get that job title or whatever it might be. We actually, and we get on television, whatever it is, hit a certain social media following, whatever it might be. We get it, and then we're happy for a minute, and before we know it, we're back to feeling like something's missing and like we're not enough. And so our solution, this was me most of my life. My solution was, I've just got to work harder. I got to achieve the next thing and the next level and the next level.
Okay.
But in that journey, I was building 3 things that are very important in life. I was building my confidence, which is so important.
So important.
So important. I was growing, which is so important. If, there's that famous saying, if we're not growing, we're dying. And growing can look like growing in your faith or growing in a new skill set. So I was growing and I was contributing to something bigger than myself. And those 3 things are great. But none of those actually build your self-worth, which is different. And our self-worth is that deep internal, just knowing and belief that we are worthy of love and belonging exactly as we are, not as our past mistakes or failures or regrets, not as whatever our current self-perceived inadequacies are, not as our successes but exactly as we are. And our self-worth is our ceiling. And so what that means is, and this was me most of my life, I was achieving stuff on the outside world that looked good, but inside I did not believe I was enough. And when we don't believe we are enough, here's how it shows up in our lives. We could be crushing it in one area. We could be, super mom of the year. We could be doing great in our job. We could be so social and have a lot of friends. We could be hitting our fitness goals. But when underneath it all, we don't believe we're enough, it'll show up in certain areas of our life in usually one of 3 ways. Either we are stuck, we feel stuck in an area and we don't know why. We have we think that we want to share our story with the world and write a book. We know we have a book inside of us, but we haven't written it and we don't know why. Or we want to find a life partner, but we haven't gotten on the dating app, or we haven't gone out in public or socialized, and we tell ourselves stories like, oh, I just need more skill sets, more experience. Right. When really, for a lot of us, the underlying thing is we deep down inside don't believe we're worthy of the thing. So we stay stuck and we don't know why. And that is a big thing.
But Jamie, let me ask you something. Do you think, because my mind is firing on all cylinders right now hearing you talk. I love it. I love it. No, because I resonate with everything you say. But is it fear that holds us back of thinking we're not worthy? What is the thing that stops us from knowing? Because I think, don't you think deep down we know there's more? We got to, or we wouldn't be doubting that we were. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes. So fear, absolutely, of the meaning we're attaching to things.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
And we believe these lies that
we do.
I go into all of these lies in Worthy the book that I've had to unlearn in my life to learn to believe I'm worthy, right? So for anyone listening right now, like,
give me a couple of them. Give me a couple of them.
Yes. Here's a few. Your weight determines your worth, and I should wait on my weight to live my best life.
Okay, you just stepped on my toes.
Kim, for 40 years, I was waiting on my weight. And by the way, this is not even a chapter about weight, because it does not matter what your weight is. But so many of us, right? We wait, we hide in the back of the photo. We decline the invitation to the reunion. We don't wear the swimsuit. This was me most of my entire life. And I talk about how to unlearn that lie, because when we start thinking about what has waiting on our weight already cost us in our lives, the pain of that is usually far, far more dreadful than whatever judgment we think we're going to get if we stop waiting on our weight to fully put ourselves out there. So that's one of the lies. Another lie, I should only be seen when I'm happy. A lot of us hide who we truly are. We hide what we really feel. We show up in the world as our representative, thinking that's what's going to get us love or approval. I do it. Yeah. And on the days when we're just like feeling not that way, not happy, we hide how we are. And every time, by the way, this would be fun to talk about with you later if you want to, but because over the decade, like, oh my gosh, all the years I was doing shows on QVC and meeting tens of thousands of entrepreneurs and watching the very few who make it. I want to.
It's hard, girl.
If you want to,
it's hard. Yeah. No, it's hard. Let's talk about it because it's hard.
There's 20 lies in here to unlearn because they're big, right? If I'm me, I won't be loved. The lie that I don't deserve better in friendships or relationships, so I should just settle. There's so many lies.
We'll be right back with more Jamie Kern Lima after a short break. Hey, y'all. Hands up. Raise your hand if you used to watch Friends. Okay, do you remember how iconic Jennifer Aniston's hair was? I remember the Rachel. It was so good. It was an actual haircut. Her hair always looked so healthy and full. And did you know that she has her own line of hair care products? This episode is proudly brought to you by Lolavie, an award-winning hair care line founded by Jennifer Aniston. And here's why I personally love Lolavie. They use high-quality plant-based ingredients with no silicones, no sulfates, no parabens, and no gluten, okay? They have amazing products to use in the shower, after the shower, that will give you silkier, shinier, better-looking hair. I love their restorative shampoo and conditioner, and their glossing detangler makes my hair look even better than it did, back in the 90s when Trends was on. Unlock the Jennifer Aniston-approved hair at Lolavie.com. And you'll get an exclusive 15% off your entire order when you use code KIM at checkout. That's 15% off of your order at Lolavie.com and use promo KIM, K-I-M. Please note you can only use one promo code per order and the discounts can't be combined. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. So please let them know we sent you and support our show. And also send me a photo of how great your hair looks. I'd love to see it. You're going to love it. I know I do. Y'all know I have lost weight and I'm trying to stay healthier.
And that's why I'm so glad to have AG1 sponsoring the show, because I only want to work with brands that I love and that have worked for me. And I love AG1. Since I started drinking AG1, I feel more focused. I feel like I have more energy. It supports my immune system. I'm not getting sick as much. So my kids' germs won't get me sick as often, because I've got 2 teenage boys. So if you want to try it for yourself, then try this. Go to drinkag1.com/KGS, and you're going to get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Seriously, y'all, AG1 is a nutritional supplement that's got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, stress adaptogens, superfoods, mushrooms, and nutrients to support body, brain, and gut health. And did I mention that AG1 supports healthy aging, healthy skin, healthier hair, and even nails? It's so good for you, and it tastes so good, and it's really, really easy. I just take 1 scoop of my AG1 and mix it in water every single morning and drink it up. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily. And that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner here on the Kim Gravel Show. So if you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase, exclusively at drinkag1.com/KGS. That's drinkag1.com/KGS. Y'all check it out and enjoy that healthier lifestyle.
It's hard to be a woman in business. You know this, especially have built what you have built against a lot of, like you said, a lot of rejection. How do you think that we don't step into our destiny or step into our self-worth and really realize that because of rejection? Because speak to that, Jamie, because rejection is inevitable.
Yes.
That's what I tell my kids. I'm like, girl, dude, you're going to be rejected. So you might as well go ahead and accept that. Is it how you handle it? Tell me how you fought back those insecurities and those feelings of worth.
Best question ever. Because
it's a good one.
Fear.
What you say about it?
Fear of rejection and fear of failure. Oh my gosh. And
what is it, girl?
The meaning we assign to those things. And by the way, when we get rejected or failed, it can shake our confidence, which is a big deal. But when we start to believe we're a failure or we're a reject, that is when it takes root at an identity level. And that's when it just takes root in your self-worth. So in the book, Worthy, there is chapter 2. And this actually, Kim, you'll understand this as a fellow author. I wrote a whole other book called When You Change Your Relationship with Rejection, You Change Your Life. And that was going to be my 3rd book. I did not want to wait 2.5 years to put that one out later.
No.
So it's now Inside Worthy as chapter 2. There's literally a book Inside Worthy as chapter 2. Okay, this is big. And if you want me to, I will break it down at a granular level on your show so that people can apply it to their life right now. Okay. For anyone who has, a fear of rejection or failure, or you have past rejections or failures that are still sticking to you, even if you know it or not, like lead balloons on your wings when you're trying to fly, right? Okay. So I go through in chapter 2 called Change Your Relationship with Rejection, Change Your Life, Inside Worthy, the 4 R's and this framework of the 4 R's on how to completely change your relationship with rejection. Now, here's the thing. As human beings, every one of us as human beings, we want to avoid pain at all costs. It's why for a lot of us, we know if we go to the gym, we're going to eventually have better, health scores. We're going to eventually feel better. But the pain of working out on that treadmill will keep me personally away from that gym all the time. We are so wired, right, to avoid pain at all costs. And so when we attach a painful meaning to potential rejection or fear, we will not go for the thing. We will stay stuck. We will, all of that because we want to avoid pain. We're going to go through the 4 R's if you're down for
Okay.
it. Are you up for it together?
I've got my pen and paper. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
I got it.
Okay. So every person listening to me right now, you can go through this with us. Okay. So this is going to be really powerful. And I'm going to explain, Kim, how I use this to get through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rejections and no's. We were teetering on, a lot of people don't know this, we were teetering on bankruptcy for years at It Cosmetics. QVC, which is my heart and soul and the best thing that ever happened at It Cosmetics. Even QVC had said no for a number of years, and same with all the retail stores. And a lot of times when we get 1 no or 5 no's or 20 no's, we give up. We think our intuition must be wrong. We think we don't have what it takes. We think the rejection is some indication of our potential or what's going to happen. And so we quit. And oftentimes it's not. If your gut feeling and your knowing is telling you you are supposed to be doing something and you are supposed to be going for it, you have to change your relationship with rejection and failure in order to trust your gut and keep going. Okay, so here's how we're going to do it. So first, to start it off with a question. This is for you, for me, for everyone listening right now. Imagine yourself getting rejected or failing at something without thinking about this too hard. Just imagine it getting rejected and what that feels like, or failing at something. And what's the first thought that goes through your head? The very first thought.
For me, you would, because I can answer it.
Yeah, I would.
Here we go again. Here it goes again. Here we go again.
For me, most of my life, it's, there's proof I'm not enough.
Okay, girl.
Yep, proof I'm not enough. I once asked this to a room of CEOs at this business conference, and they got really vulnerable. People started crying. I was not expecting that. Answers coming out were like, oh, I should have never tried. I'm stupid. I'm a loser. I don't have what it takes. Things like that never happened to people like me. What was I even thinking going for it? What I just shared, oh yeah, there's proof I'm not enough. What Kim just shared, yep, here we go again. But for you listening, that first thought you just had, okay, that is your current definition of rejection or failure. Your current definition. And for some of us, we have multiple, right? For me, it's like, oh, yep, there's proof I'm not enough, or, I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough to succeed. All these things, right, that we tell ourselves. Now, for most of us, that current definition is so painful that we want to avoid it at all costs, right? So we don't go for it. But when you change your definition, when you change it, which you can do, it can change everything, because everything in life is just the meaning we attach to things.
To it.
The first R is reveal, which is what we just did. We revealed our current definition of rejection and failure. And the second R is to redefine it.
Yes.
Redefine it. And when we do it, it has to be a definition you believe to be true. It cannot be one that just sounds good. And here's how this happened for me, Kim, in my life. And it actually had to do with QVC. I was in this season of hundreds and hundreds of no's. I did not know how It Cosmetics was going to make it. And I got a really painful no from QVC. And it was painful only because I wanted it to happen so bad. I had this vision of being on QVC, showing real women, connecting with that person at home. Like I felt it, like I knew it was going to happen.
You knew.
Right? I knew. And then I got another no. And I was like, I don't know. And I just remember I was crying under my covers, not knowing how my business was going to make it. And I decided to Google every person that I could think of that had ever built a really great, successful company, or had, helped move humanity forward in some way, or helped, was an incredible thought leader or an icon or a titan. And I just started reading all their stories. And what I realized is every single one of them has gone through countless rejections and failures. They're just the brave ones willing to keep going anyway. And that day, crying under my covers, I wrote in my journal, after I just got another no from QVC, I wrote in my journal, rejection does not mean I'm not enough, which is what I had told myself forever. Rejection means this is a victory. I am one of the brave
Yes.
ones willing to go for it anyway. I am not going to spend my life on the sidelines living in regret, thinking what could have happened. This rejection's a victory. It's a reminder I'm one of the brave ones. And I know that in my gut to be true. I believe that to be true. And so that at that day became my new definition. And then I started building a toolbox of new definitions that I believe to be true. And every time I would get another no, another rejection, I would put a product out there and nobody bought it. Like all the times that would happen, I would be tempted to think, oh yeah, there's proof I'm not enough. That's my old definition. I will intercept it, replace it with that new one, right? One of my favorite ones, rejection's God's protection.
Amen.
Right? Rejections, I'm putting in the reps. I'm putting in the reps. I'm one step closer. And I started building this toolbox of new definitions. And then I committed to literally deciding the meaning I attached to rejection when it happened, so that I didn't assign pain to it. I literally retrained myself to believe.
It empowered you.
Yes. And I started embracing it. And I know that just sounds wild because,
I get it.
Yeah. And then the third R is my favorite. This one's a little deep. But a lot of us are hanging on to past rejections and failures, and we're letting them take root. And for some people, it happened on the school playground when they were in sports.
Years ago.
For other people, it's that guy that broke their heart and shattered it to pieces and told them they're not enough. Or it's the job they wanted so bad that didn't see their value no matter what they did. Or the friend that did not invite you to the party and it still hurts your feelings that you felt like you were. There's so many examples of this where we're holding on to past rejections and they're taking root in our identity. And so third step is to revisit. And a lot of times we don't even know we're doing this, but when we revisit past rejections and then reveal what is the meaning we're assigning to those and then redefine it, go through steps 1 and 2, it can change everything. And,
everything.
2 really quick examples. I was adopted and my parents worked so much growing up. I was always alone. And I always had this story I told myself that I was abandoned or unwanted. And it came out in a lot of areas of my life. Like I stayed in unhealthy relationships with guys I was dating like way too long because I didn't want to abandon them. And then later, Kim, like a lot of people don't know this, but we built to over 1,000 employees at Cosmetics. And
huge.
I think I did a lot well, and I also did a lot wrong. And one of my biggest things I did wrong was I would not fire people soon enough who actually really merited it.
Needed needed it.
Because I didn't want to abandon them. And I went through this process and I realized I was assigning this meaning that I was unwanted or rejected or abandoned. And I realized that and I redefined it and was like, oh, actually, my birth mom and dad were together one time ever, then never again. Like God chose me to come into this world. My birth mom, her life would have been way easier had she not had me, but she chose to have me. And then my parents who raised me chose me. I'm like, I'm not unwanted.
You're chosen, baby.
I'm chosen. Yeah. And it has changed every part of my life. I believe that. And it has changed everything. My all-time favorite one, in case someone needs this in their life today, for anyone who has had someone not see their value or pull the rug out from underneath them or betray their trust or not love them the way that they needed or not include them or invite them. And it may be something recent. It may be something from decades ago. I will intentionally look at those situations and I will literally redefine them this way. And I believe it. I will imagine God saying to me, oh, you weren't rejected. I hid your value from them because they're not assigned to your destiny.
Right.
And I will believe it. And so the people that, along the way that didn't believe it, Cosmetics would make it. Like we had one investor it was the most painful no I've ever had, where he thought women wouldn't buy makeup from someone who looked like me with my body and my weight.
Lord have mercy.
All these situations. But what I know is I believe this to my core, even if it's simple things like the friend that you're trying so hard to make new friends as an adult and you don't know why you're not included with that person. It could be any of these situations.
Right.
I believe God will block our value from people who are not assigned to our destiny. And believing these new definitions, which I go in the book Worthy on how to do this, they will fundamentally, what they do is they make that fear of rejection and failure go away. They make, when rejection and failure happens, the worst case is it can shake your confidence for a minute, but you redefine it. But what it does is it does not let them take root in your identity so that you're not tempted to think I am a reject or a failure. And so it's one of many tools. It's one of many tools in the book Worthy on like how, because my first book, Believe It, was really my journey of learning to believe in myself.
Yes.
But Worthy's like the playbook on
how
to you believe in you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The fourth R is revel in the fact that you are fearless about rejection and failure. Because I'm telling you, rejection, fear, failure, self-doubt will kill more dreams than almost anything else. I'm going to
tell you something, Jamie. You are made for podcasting. I cannot wait to subscribe to your new podcast. When is it coming out? You have so much inspiration to share, girl. I'm telling you.
Thank you so much.
People need these messages.
Dream. Thank you, Kim. It's called the Jamie Kern Lima Show. And,
I can't wait.
And you can subscribe.
When is it coming out?
Podcasts. Yeah, it's not out yet, but it will be in March. In
March. So we're a few weeks from it.
Subscribe to get like the first episode. And there's going to be a sneak peek episode now that you'll get first if you head over there. So yeah, anywhere podcasts, you get your podcast or YouTube. You're
going to kill it. I'm telling you, this is your talk show, baby. This is God bring. Okay. All right. So before I let you go, I love you too. I can't wait to get the book. I wrote down the 4 R's. You got to get it. But before you leave, I do this with every guest. I do what I call rapid fire.
Rapid fire questions.
Don't think about it. What comes up comes out. Okay.
Okay.
The most surreal moment I had living next door to Oprah was blank. Okay, girl.
The moment she drove over on a golf cart and agreed to be my first guest on the Jamie Kern Lima show.
Jamie, did she bring you anything from the garden or nothing? She just came over.
Actually, she brought a blanket. She brought a blanket the first time she came over. Yeah. I love blankets. I love a great blanket. I love a great mug.
Okay, Jamie. Tell Oprah she's got another thing in me. Okay, here we go. If you only had 1 year to live, I would
snuggle my babies.
Yes, you would.
I would snuggle my babies and I would snuggle my babies.
That's it.
I would do a better job of noticing the beauty all around us.
Amen.
And I would stay home more, probably.
Me too. I would. In the bed, snuggled up with the kids.
With your
I love
Oprah
it.
blanket. Yeah.
With your Oprah blanket.
Oprah blanket.
Yeah.
You immediately gain my respect if you blank.
Stand up for someone else who cannot stand up for themselves.
Oh, good one. Agreed. I agree with you on that. The one piece of advice I would give to a listener who wants to start a business in her living room is blank.
Oh.
Okay.
If you know in your gut this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Let's go.
Your knowing is going to be more powerful than any of the no's you're about to get. And I do not know a single person who has started a business who has lasted and not gotten a whole bunch of no's. And knowing how to pray, get still, meditate, whatever that looks like for you, and learning how to hear your own knowing and trust it is more powerful. It's your compass, it's your North Star, it's your guidance. And do not let anyone else's doubt about you turn into doubt in your own head. And do not think you're alone in that doubt or in the no's. Again, we think we're alone because we go on social media and all we see is people's highlight reels. And we think, oh, I'm the only one who my business is not getting traction, or I put my art out there and no one's buying it, or I put my ideas and no one clicked like, it was years and years before anybody knew It Cosmetics existed, but it was a lot of no's. And I think a lot of people aren't prepared for that because especially with technology, things look like they happen fast.
Instant. Yeah, they do.
Right?
They don't.
Instant.
They don't happen
people
fast.
People think they get famous quick. They build businesses quick. They're somehow successful quick. And I would prioritize I would know that. And I would also prioritize cash over flash. And that is hard to do. But we were so unglamorous for the longest time. We were not cool for the longest time. But we stayed not going bankrupt barely for the longest time because we prioritized that.
You had substance. You had substance.
Yeah. Oh, I could go on this. We can talk about this for
Okay.
hours.
I gotta get this. I know,
Oh
but
my
you
gosh.
got a
Okay,
heart
sorry.
out, and I want to ask you this. This is fun.
Okay.
My
Okay.
celebrity crush is blank. Okay, Jamie.
Woo!
I know. Just keep it real. 100. Just blam. First person comes up and comes out. Who is it?
This is not going to make any sense. You really want me to be really, really honest?
Total 1000% raw.
Let me just preface this by saying,
Okay, go ahead.
I
Go
am
ahead.
happily married. I have
Me too.
only dated men my entire life, and my first
Me
answer
too.
was Angelina Jolie was my first
She's
thought.
no, a celebrity, a crush is, come on, that has nothing to do,
Yeah.
that's who you look up to. She's hot. She's hot for reasons. She's
that was
hot.
the first thought. I'm like, you want me to be honest, but you can't
Be
fake
honest,
authenticity.
because she gives back, like you have the same heart. I get it. Now, this week I have a very special audience fill in the blank question that I want you, our listeners, to answer. I want you to be a part of the show, and I think this is going to be really, really fun, y'all. So if you're on a platform that allows comments, then drop a comment with your answer. Or if you're on QVC Plus or Apple, then head on over to KimGravellShow.com and send me a comment with your answer to this question. Fill in the blank, y'all. My guilty pleasure is blank. Yeah, I have so many of them. I want you to make that comment. Anywhere you listen to the podcast, make the comment. And who knows, we might be reading your comments on air.
Kim, what's your guilty pleasure?
Ooh.
Real fast.
Chocolate cake, massages, facials, shopping, packages coming to my door from UPS. Shall I go on?
Okay. Just one answer, y'all. One answer.
It's really not a pleasure if it doesn't make you a little bit guilty, y'all. Just saying. Okay, here we go. I hope this is easy too, because it is for me. My favorite junk food is blank.
Woo!
Okay.
Oh, gosh. All
Come
of it.
on. And I want a sweet and a salty.
Okay, I downed, like, I'm not even, this is embarrassing. I downed probably 100 Christmas wrapped Hershey Kisses for breakfast. That I do not recommend that. I'm just being so honest.
God.
I'm being so honest.
All right, you're salty.
But that's not normal. Salty. But that is what happened today.
I love it.
Salty. Oh my gosh. You know, I love junk food.
I do too, Jamie. I do too. I mean, you and I could sit down and eat and talk for days.
Yes. Just, yeah.
You got to come back.
Okay. Salty. Everything. I'm sweet, so I'm a sweet person.
I'm a sweet too.
I love pretzels. I love nachos.
Doritos. How about
Cheetos.
Lay's? Have you ever tried the Lay's salted vinegar chips?
I have not. Are they good?
Okay.
Do you want to know a true story?
Grab them.
We did this powder blush stain at It Cosmetics, and how we thought of it was one day I was eating Cheetos, and my fingers were stained orange, and I'm like, and we didn't launch blush at It Cosmetics for years because I was like, I'm not launching one unless it's better or different or special. And I remember Paulo looking at me with these orange stained fingers eating Cheetos. I thought he was judging me. And he knew I was at a product development retreat and we didn't have a blush idea. And he's like, what if Cheetos stain your hands and you can eat them, it's safe. What about a powder blush stain? That's how we thought of it. So see, there are good things that come out of junk food, even if they're not good for you.
I'm leaving it right there because there's nothing better than Cheeto stained fingers to do product development for a beauty brand. Jamie, listen, you can connect with her on her website, JamieKernLima.com. Follow her on social media at Jamie Kern Lima. Her new book, Worthy, came out last week. How to Believe You Are Enough and Transform Your Life. It's available right now everywhere books are sold. Girl, you got to come back. We got to have a follow-up.
I would love
and
to.
And everybody
so
go
much.
follow her podcast right now. Okay,
yes,
I'm not kidding you right now.
Lima show, the Jamie
Let's
Kern
go.
Lima show. We
gonna
should
be
do
huge.
a live. You, me, and Mally should do like a live show together. That would be so fun.
Call me. You got my
That would
number.
be
Call
so
me, girl.
fun.
I'm there.
Yeah, same. Okay, good. I love
Love you. Mwah.
Thank you.
Y'all, this one inspired me. Zach, don't you love it when we get these voicemails, we get these comments? Y'all gotta hear it. Take a listen.
All right, let's take a listen. Here we go.
Hi, Kim. I watch you on QVC, and I've just come to love you so much. You just absolutely make my day whenever I see you. And, of course, with your new issue, I was so upset for you. And then I'm seeing that you're just going through with it and fighting it and still being out there. And it just inspires me because I probably would feel so sorry for myself. And I look at you and you are incredibly brave and wonderful. So just want to send along my best and hope that you can get through this pretty soon and it'll be over for you. But until then, know that you are just totally held with such regard. So love you, Patty.
Patty, I love you too. But Zach, she's right. It's tough. I mean, but that's what it's all about. I mean, just what Jamie said. I mean, it's not about what happens to us. It's really what happens through us. It happens what we do with our hardships and our rejections and our failures and our past. And, Patty, I love you, girl. And, where else can we go but forward? If this is the worst thing that ever happened, so many other people, Zach, deal with such heartache and disappointment that we all have to just take our pain as pain and whatever we're going through. And we've just got to encourage each other and move forward together. That's what this community is all about. So if you want to be a part of this Love Who You Are community where we are going to lift each other up, make everyone feel like they are worthy. Like Jamie said, we're all so worthy. This is a place for you. Subscribe to the podcast, share it with other people. Go on the KimGravellShow.com, sign up there, leave comments.
Yeah, tell someone about it. Just tell someone about
somebody.
it. That's
or
the
call
best
us,
way.
Zach. What's the number?
Yeah, or call us. Leave us a voicemail. We're going to be doing these every episode. I want to hear from listeners every episode. And let me just give you a quick tip because I would say 90% of the voicemails we get are just like, Kim, you're so great, and I love your clothes, and I love your show, and I want to hear more about you. I want to hear what you're going through.
Yes,
I want to hear about
Patty,
what how you're getting through it, how you can inspire other people. Like, what is your inspiration? What's your story? What's your story? So tell us that, because I mean, Kim would love it if I just played, we love you, we love you, Kim. But
I love you back. That's all I'm gonna say is I love you back.
I'm just kidding.
Sometimes I get tired of my
404.
Okay.
All right. 404-913-6460. All right. What were you going to say, Kim? I'm sorry I interrupted you.
I was going, sometimes I get tired of my own self. What did I tell you today? I'm tired of talking.
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah, you started out by saying, I'm tired of talking, my face hurts. So, are you okay, Kim? How is that going, by the way?
Let's good. Get a quick update. Getting better every day.
Okay. All right.
Move forward, y'all. And know that you're worthy, like Jamie said. All right. Bye, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
I just got more Kim. In my life. Woo!
The funny thing is there's a delay. So when you say dude to me, it's totally off. Like, it's like you're like a second late. It's hilarious.
Well, that's the story of my life, Zach. I'm always delayed.
Second late, $1 short. All right, let's
delayed healing, delayed everything. Yeah. I want to share with you because I want to. And hold on. And I have an inspiring listener. If you like this episode, I got one more you're going to love.